Hey everyone, this is Manly Badass here, and welcome back to Crimson Gray. Previously we made a series of X-Buns, as we were confronted by our girlfriend. So when we last left off, it was kind of a cliffhanger, but we've woken up, we're not dead, thankfully, so... Not yet anyway, but we'll see what happens, we'll see. John woke to the feeling of something tight on his wrists. At first he thought he must be tangled in the sheets, but when he tried to move his hands, they were stuck. The memories returned in a bitterly cold flood. Lizzie had actually knocked him out by force and brought him wherever this was. His blurry vision slowly returned, and he could make out a rough basement around him. He could just see a heavy metal door at the top of the stairs. And this also happened to be the most cleanest basement he had ever seen. Wowee. It looked as though there were shelves and tools around the walls, but he couldn't pay attention to those. Especially like that looks like a set of knives in the back. Sharp things, nonetheless. Now with Lizzie standing in front of him, eyes fixed on his face. Hello, Lizzie! I'm glad you're awake now. Are you feeling okay? Okay? You've... I didn't want to have it to be this way, John. But I don't have a choice. You're confused, John. You don't understand how much this matters. I'll help you understand. Well, what are you going to do to me? Don't be afraid, John. Everything is going to be alright. I'm completely empty. There's nothing inside me. There's never been anything inside me. The emptiness craves something. Ice cream? Please don't kill me. I didn't understand what I needed for years and years. Eventually I realized I needed a person. A specific person. But I didn't know who. Occasionally there would be a flicker of feeling. I'd watch someone for a while, but they were never what I needed. Nothing actually mattered. Until I met you. But what? Let me finish. For so long, I could barely even bear to look at you. The feelings were too intense. And then I couldn't bring myself to talk to you. I was afraid it would all just disappear. But the feelings didn't go away. They got stronger. You were made for me, John. You need to understand that. But you don't understand, because you're confused. That's why I need to keep you here. You think this is going to help? It may be difficult at first, John. But you'll come to understand. I promise you will. After all, I have days and days with you all to myself. If any other situation, I'd maybe be turned on. Maybe. This situation with the axe, not so much. Needless to say. Sometimes an axe is okay. But not this time. That's for a very specific kind of roleplay. Days and days, John recalled they were going to a full week of vacation. That meant she could keep him a full 9 days before they'd return to school. They call it the Paul Bunyan. That was no accident. She coldly planned the entire thing. Maybe she'd been manipulating him since before she even asked for the date. Part of him was terrified. Part of him was furious with her. And another part, his depression saw a twisted mirror of his own feelings. But the worst he'd ever done was say unkind things. Not this. Just what did she plan to do to him anyway? As he looked around the basement, he saw a lot of heavy tools. Some of the hammers and knives looked like they'd been used. John slumped against the ropes binding him to the chair and just wept. Cry. Try not to cry. Cry some more. He wasn't sure how long the release of emotion continued, but when it was over, John felt as though his mind had been purged. His current situation might be pretty bad, but he still had options. He could figure out something, assuming he figured out what he even wanted to do. The safer to do would be to find a way to escape, contact the police, or maybe it would be safer to convince Lizzie to calm down, take more medication and not hurt him. John! We're going to have ever so much time together. Aren't you excited? Yeah. He needed to say something, and not some kind of weird high-pitched voice for comedic effect. Turned the situation around, but it was just so hard to focus. Before I got to know you, I thought this would be the easy part. I thought I understood how people worked. Some things never made sense to me, but others are so simple. Lizzie walked up to one of the walls and began running her fingers over the tools there. She picked up a knife and caressed the edge, partially turned away from him. I thought that once I found you, I could make you mine, and then I would feel whole. But you see, I underestimated just how much you would change me. I'm so much happier, and everything is so much more complicated. She walked toward him wearing a soft, loving expression but still holding the knife. John froze and held his breath as she walked behind him. Are you freeing me? I want all of you, John. Even the parts I didn't know existed before. If I hurt you, I would never really have what I want. The knife slid past his face, but only as Lizzie moved to embrace him. She wrapped her arms around his neck and pressed herself against his back, inhaling deeply. I love you so much. I wouldn't be satisfied with just a shell of you. Without warning, she pulled back. The duration in her expression was gone, replaced with an empty gaze fixated on him. But that makes this so much harder. What are you going to do to me? I don't know. I wish I knew. I took time to think, but it didn't help. Yeah, I don't think Charming might... It might be bad. Maybe she might see through that, be like, you're lying! She stabs you. We're not gonna beg. Let's try to reason. Maybe that's the best bet. Reason with her. Lizzie, think about this. Do you think controlling me like this will bring us together? It will after I chop you up to pieces and eat you. You'll forgive me. It's more important for you to understand. But you said it yourself. If you're not sure how you're going to make me understand, shouldn't you try talking to me first? I need to think. Maybe that wouldn't work, but he hoped it stuck with her. Rather than me being stuck with that knife. She could reason, even if in a strange way. Maybe he could get through to her. Lizzie paced around his room for a while, muttering under her breath, then suddenly straightened. Throwing aside the knife, it embedded itself in the wall. Oh! She went to a closet. After a few seconds of searching, it emerged with a chain. Great! We went from being tied up with, like, around the wrists, or with, probably like a rope or something. Cloth. Now we're just gonna be chained with metal. It's like, you know what? I'm glad we did some thinking. Let me put chains around you so you don't escape. Thank you for telling me to think. It's like me and my big mouth. Yes, this will be better. I'm sorry, John. I should have thought of this earlier. She clapped one end around his ankle, then lifted a table at one end of the room and latched the other side of the chain there. Plucking the knife back out of the wall, Lizzie cut through John's bond with troubling speed, smiling all the while. See, you don't have to be tied up. Here, use this table. I'll bring you whatever you need. Time to break the table leg. Lizzie swept up all objects from the table like there was so much trash, then frowned down the empty space. But you didn't bring your books, because of the date. Is there anything you want me to bring for you? Hope? Freedom? Sorry, we're all out of that. Maybe you should check your local Walmart. He stared at her, still not entirely sure how to deal with this change. Licking his lips, John spoke before he could fully think through his words. Can I have some water? Ah, of course. Yes, water. And you slept a long time. You'll probably be hungry soon. Just wait here. While she was gone, he did his best just to rub some feeling back into his wrists and look around the room. The chain attaching him to the table leg was fairly long. He thought he could reach most of the basement except the far end and the door at the top of the stairs. Not that he could try anything, when she was nearby and could return at any moment. He did try to lift the table though to see if he could slip the chain out from her leg and couldn't even budge it. What the hell? Was there some trick to it or was she just that strong? John had just thought it might have been his imagination, or she was just filled with passion. But to move the table as easily as she had, that shouldn't have been possible. Oh boy! What was the time for anything else before Lizzie returned, bearing kitchen supplies? You can put that knife away. Just wait a moment. I'll make you something. We can be together while I make it. Isn't that wonderful? Not waiting for an answer, she laid out her ingredients on one side of the table, and then set up a chopping board. She began reducing vegetables to little chunks with terrifying ease, knife a silver blur in her hands. I know just what I want to cook today, but you can ask for whatever you want later, okay? I'll make you anything you like. Thank you. This is all I want, John. A peaceful life at home. We can have that without the chains and knife. Maybe the knife could stay because you actually do need to cut vegetables, but you know, not aimed at me. You can stay inside. Ignore everyone who wants to hurt you. I'll keep you safe. Bring you whatever you need. Take good care of you. And never go outside. Of course you could go outside if you want to. But right now, I'm just afraid. Her movements became more erratic, and John saw several chips of wood fly away from the cutting board. Lizzie was still smiling sweetly. Don't you want that too? You'll just stay inside on bad days and ignore the world. That did sound good to him, but when he shifted his legs, he heard the chain clicking on the floor, and whatever he had been remaining to say evaporated out of his mind. As absurd as it was, the day continued almost normally. Lizzie made him an elaborate meal, and they ended up chatting over it, as if everything was normal. It felt wrong to do so, but he worried that doing anything else would just antagonize her. Did she really think this would work in the end? Honestly, he had no idea. And did she really need to do so much cutting for every single dish? When they had finished and chatted for a while, Lizzie abruptly hopped back to her feet. Okay, just a moment. John, I'm gonna get your books, okay? I don't want you to be angry with me for making you fall behind on your homework. Is there anything else you want me to get from your house? Well, just let me know if you need anything, alright? She skipped away and he heard the door above him close. He wondered if it could be a trick. I was about to say, like, could be a trick. Could be a trick somehow. But after enough sounds passed, he felt reasonably certain that she had actually gone to his house. Though she could have taken his key, he saw it still resting on the far table of the other things he'd been carrying. Had she made a copy at some point, or could she just pick the lock? Neither possibility was exactly comforting, but he didn't have time for that. John got to his feet and stretched and considered his options. Make something for Lizzie because we're so doomed. Tools? Or should we just give in to our doom? His table had been placed to be out of reach of the weapons lining one wall, but that put him close to the other wall. John managed to get around to the table to him and began examining them. There was a metal cupboard that appeared to be locked. He looked for the rest. There was a toolbox he thought was locked at first, but eventually he realized was only stuck. After enough effort, he got it open and looked through. Most of it was random aging tools, but he found a screwdriver that looked to be in good shape. Could he use this to escape? He saw several possibilities, but at that moment he heard Lizzie return. It was too late. Hide it! So as John spent all of Saturday tense, Lizzie showed no signs of intending to hurt him. At night, she brought a mattress and bedding down to the basement to stay up close enough they could lie down on it. When he woke up on Sunday, he felt strangely normal. Still tense. The situation was far from ordinary, but in a strange way he had learned to deal with it. That day passed almost normally. Since Lizzie had brought him his books, he tried to work through his homework, just like he often did on Sunday. Lizzie stayed with him most of the day, working as well. She made meals for them both in the basement and upstairs, but she always stayed close. He hoped for a chance to evaluate his options more, but never spotted one since she was only leaning in the smile of the stairwell. God, that's just gotta be creepy. He's just chilling down there, trapped, and you see this glowing face from around the corner up in the darkness, just staring at you. Not making a sound, not moving, just around the corner, just these two bright blue eyes, just staring with a big toothy smile, like a doll. The only useful things he learned was that the basement door was apparently unlocked except at night. If he could somehow get a chain from the table, he had a shot at getting out. When Monday dawned, he crashed almost immediately and didn't even get out of bed. That was common for vacations when he didn't have friends to distract him, since all he could do was wallow in himself. It felt worse than usual. His world wasn't just gray, it His depression was filled with flecks of anger and confusion. Only then did he realize he hadn't taken any medication since Friday morning. When Lizzie entered that morning, she immediately saw how badly he was doing and rushed to his mattress, at first fussing with his sheets before realizing the problem went deeper than that. John, what's wrong? Guess. Clink, clink goes the chain. Other than you keeping me here. No, I'm sorry. No. If I let you go, you'll just hate me. It will ruin everything. Yes, you're clearly doing a good job of making me not hate you right now. Then, at least bring me my Paxatine. It's in the shelf above the sink to the... No. No, I won't bring it to you. I can't. I destroyed it. What? But I need that. You understand how serious my condition is, right? I know. I really do. But you take the other drugs. Not theirs. But... You've taken something before Paxatine, right? Tell me what it was. I'll go get some for you. I want you to get better, John. But I won't let you take anything from Koitek. We can buy some time if we tell her about the old medication. Probably, 'cause she'll have to go out. Thinking back, John tried to remember the medication that seemed to do some good. Maybe they weren't as good as Paxatine, but they'd be better than nothing. Okay, just wait right here. Apparently just remembering all the chemical names he'd listed, Lizzie hopped up the stairs and practically slammed the door in a hurry on the way out. Abruptly alone, John realized he had never a chance to act. Alright. Let's look for tools again, because last time we just got a screwdriver. Using the screwdriver he had found earlier, John began to work in the middle cupboard. The lock appeared to be a simple one. He could just wedge the screwdriver between the doors. He was afraid he'd make the marks that Lizzie might notice, but the cupboard was already a battered old thing. I feel like she still likes to notice. It's pretty clever. After a lot of tears poking at it, John was starting to worry he wouldn't accomplish anything. And then out of nowhere, he managed to budge the latch just a little. Filled with new energy, John kept jabbing at it, occasionally pushing it just a little further. Eventually he managed to open the cupboard. It made a painfully loud sound, but he was fairly confident Lizzie wasn't back yet, and now he could finally see the tools inside. His first feeling that he had wasted his effort. Most of the tools were useless things like rakes and mops. Mop. But then he spotted leaning back. A crowbar. It was a little old, but it looked sturdy. Gordon Freeman! And though the legs of the table were metal, the joints at the top weren't strong. Maybe he struck it with the crowbar he could bend it a little. The idea filled him with a little hope, but he rejected trying it immediately. He had wasted too much time, there would be no way to hide an action like that. He needed to escape just after Lizzie left. Instead, John replaced the crowbar, closed the cupboard, and returned to his seat, hoping the fact that it was unlocked wasn't too obvious. Hi! Just me, chilling down here, doing nothing. I'm just singing a song. You don't have to, notice that crowbar is missing. Don't check under the bed. It's like, wow, John, you're such a great singer. Do you like to sing all the time? Like, oh yeah. Especially when I'm not doing stuff in the basement. Such a good relationship. Very supportive. Eventually Lizzie returned, bearing a large white sack. She triumphantly emptied it out on the table, dumping an entire pile of pills in front of him. She'd gotten every drug he mentioned, even the prescription ones. He hated to think about the nasty consequences if he tried to get him all these at once. Maybe we could drug food. Or drink. Knock her out temporarily. A little cliche, but instead Lizzie just brought him a glass of water and sat down beside the pile. Take anything you need to get better, okay? I'll just leave these here. You can ask for more water whenever you want. Well, thank you. Of course, John. I'm doing all this because I want you to get better. He felt like telling her that being held against his will wouldn't help, but her expression looked so sincere that he couldn't bring himself to say it. How had she gotten prescription medications anyway? He found the one he'd been most satisfied with just before Miss Swift switched him to Paxatine and took his first dose. Lizzie smiled brightly and skipped back up the stairs. You'd be so cute if you weren't a possible axe murderer. Dang. After lunch on Tuesday, Lizzie started carrying electronics down the stairs. He played in confusion until she brought down the TV and started hooking everything together. Or at least attempting to. After a moment, she sighed and looked at him sheepishly. Do you know how this works. You don't know how to use electronics? I can try to get it figured out. He got up and did his best to help. She had a pretty nice VCR, leading to wonder why she had it and didn't know how to put it together. It wasn't like someone else would have bought it for her. Well, my parents. Did you not use this much? Never. I don't really watch television. I only watch John. So true. Like, at all. No. She seemed weirdly apathetic about a lot of things, but he thought she just wasn't into pop culture. Yet now something in her voice made him suspect it was something else entirely. What about music then? I don't listen to music. Huh, really? Well, what about books? Only nonfiction that seems useful. The rest all feels so pointless. What do you do for fun then? Look at John. She stared back at him for so long, he was afraid she might just ignore the question. Well, sorry I asked. I do enjoy a few things now, thanks to you. I spent a lot of time collecting all those knives because I thought they would be useful, but now it's a little different. So it was a knife collection. That's not any more comforting. Now I can imagine myself protecting you. All the details about crypts, edges, they're not just details now. They interest me. So he'd given her interest in knives. Fantastic. Anyway, I thought maybe I could enjoy a movie if I watched with you. Is that okay? We might as well try. I've had it all put together for a while anyway. We can try it. Lizzie brought a chair and sat beside him as they watched the tape. He was grateful that she at least watched the movie instead of him. It was nothing at all like how watching a film of a girl was supposed to be, according to his friends. Lizzie didn't seem remotely nervous during the scary parts, and to his surprise didn't seem to care about the romantic parts. Then again, he didn't think he really wanted to react that way. It definitely wouldn't feel like who she was. To his surprise, John found himself enjoying it too. Maybe his own meds were doing their job better than he thought. I mean, it'd be a perfectly fine date. Except for the chains. Sometimes chains are okay. Except for the chains around the ankle trapped in the basement for multiple days. And the knife. And the axes. And the knife collection. And the locked door. Yep, it'd be a perfect date aside from those things. When it finally ended, Lizzie gave a small smile that he thought represented authentic satisfaction, and then she immediately turned to him. We should watch something together again, but I think I'd rather make our own movie. Huh? His mind immediately flashed to making a porn together, and he had to force the thought away. What kind of movie? I would like to just film you. Here. Working. Or eating. Or anything. I could watch it later. Man, I joked about that you watch John thing, but apparently that's 100% true. Welcome to the John channel. 24/7 John. Hey, I'm John. Welcome to the John channel. Here's me trapped in the basement eating. How you doing? Yep, I'm eating. I'm John. I'm eating here down in the basement, trapped forever. Save me. Please save me. It's a cry for help. 24/7 John channel. Really? Wouldn't that be boring? No! Watch You Can Never Be Boring. Oh, this is such a good idea. I'll go buy one of those video recorders and... Where are you getting this money? Not to cut you off, but wouldn't that be incriminating evidence? Huh? Whoa! What was he saying? Well, too late to go back now. I mean, it's not legal to hold someone like this, and your basement looks kind of suspicious. You wouldn't want someone to find it later. Ah, you care. That's one way I take it. Lizzie embraced him cheerfully, and despite himself, John felt a flicker of joy. When she was happy, she seemed so purely happy. You're right, of course. And I'm so glad you're thinking about keeping me safe, even if I want it to be the other way around. John is so kind. But maybe later we can make our own movies. Okay? Okay. Yeah, maybe. Why the hell had he just done that? Having a tape of her behavior would have been a perfect way to get the police to take him seriously if he managed to escape. But as soon as he had that thought, John regretted it. He didn't want to see Lizzie hurt and hated the idea of her going to prison, despite what she was doing to him. Despite the situation, he still thought of her as a sweet girl who wasn't entirely well. She deserved help, not punishment. It was a Stockholm Syndrome. A little bit. Where she wear him down just like she planned to. The idea disturbed him, but it didn't change how he felt. He needed to find another way. On Wednesday, Lizzie wanted to watch another movie, but John suggested that might be too many. Instead, they passed the day quietly, working and chatting and ignoring the fact that he was chained to the table. He was feeling better than he thought he could without Paxatine, so his mind shifted to what he could do to improve his situation. Chatting with Lizzie was pleasant, but it wouldn't resolve their problem. But what should he say? Or try to leverage the last few friendly days to letting him go? Just to try and make her relax more? Or convince her that he wouldn't leave her? So Lizzie. Start a conversation about morality. Hey, do you mind if I ask a random hypothetical question? Ask anything you want. Say a train is running down a track and it will kill 5 people. You could pull a lever to switch the train to another track, where it will hit only 1 person. Oh, that one? Do you pull it? Who are the people on the tracks? Huh? That's not supposed to matter, it's just hypothetical. Random people, no one you know. She'd be like, whichever one John is not on. I don't pull the lever. I would leave. He had a feeling he knew what she was going to say, but... Say I'm on the first track and the train is heading toward me. If the lever would make the train hit 5 other people instead, would you pull it? Yes. What if there were 10 people? It never doesn't matter to me, John. I would kill 100 people. 1,000. And then I would go find the person who put you on the track and kill her. And the train conductor. And everyone on the train who didn't help. Interesting you say the person who put me on the track was a she. But that's a little bit of a Freudian slip, as they would say. If my only choice was to switch the train to come hit me, I would do it. I would do anything. Lizzie, I don't want you to kill yourself for me. Ah, you're so sweet. But no, you have to survive. I want us both to be together forever. But if I can give my life to save yours, it would be worth it. How would you answer that question if a teacher asked it? One already did, last year. I pretended to be flustered and said I couldn't pull the switch. So you do understand how most people view this. See, she's smart. She's not dumb. Not at all. She's very smart, sneaky. I'm aware of how they think, but I don't understand it. What they think doesn't really matter to me. But if I say the wrong things, people will interfere with my life. So I've had to learn to say the right things. I did it with you too, John, at first, because I was afraid you wouldn't love the real me. Uh-oh. John ... But you will. Eventually. I'm sure of it. It made things a little uncomfortable for the rest of the day, but John hoped that if he ever did someone get strapped to train tracks, Lizzie was the one nearby. Oh, you changed your outfit. The next morning he took his pills with a glass of water, as usual. Lizzie waited until he was done and then gave him a warm smile. I hope it's helping. You seem happier, John. I feel better than I expected. Pretty good, actually. It was actually strange how good he felt. And it was easy not to think about that at that moment. Instead, he brought up an issue that he'd been thinking about for a while. That reminds me, I've been meaning to ask you. You've run out of nilazine, right? I haven't taken it for days. I destroyed the rest of it the day before our date. Ooh. You destroyed it. Why? It was useful. It helped me understand. But I wasn't myself while I was taking it. I wish you could start taking medication. We can't handle everything ourselves. Sometimes we need help. You don't understand. It's not that simple. Then explain it to me. I wasn't myself. It was like someone had imprisoned me and took my place. Like you imprisoned me here? Imagine if your own medication meant that you could never feel sad again. Just constant manic happiness. That does sound horrible. I'm sorry I made you take it. Don't say that. It was useful. Having things be different for a while made it easier to see how everything fits together. But I couldn't take any longer than that. I wanted to be myself again. Yourself's doing great. Especially the part of the axe. Koitek doesn't want to help people, John. They just want to control them. Are you just saying that metaphorically? Or do you actually know something about them? No. No? Abby was an addict because of them. I never cared about her. But I saw what Koitek's drugs did to her. They didn't change who she was. She was always horrible. The drugs just made her identity obvious. Not like you, John. You're still so kind, even though you were taking that drug. But they won't be satisfied with that. Are you seriously saying Koitek is some kind of conspiracy? Conspiracy? No, I don't think so. They just want money, and they're willing to cut corners to make it. I don't care what they do to anyone else, but you need to stop taking the drug. You need to see clearly. He almost wanted to believe her. Koitek was a huge company and those weren't exactly known for their ethics. It was plausible that they'd been testing some dangerous drug on Lizzie's mother. It had probably been too dangerous for adults, but had a magnified impact on a developing child. Did Lizzie see that on some level? Or was she just paranoid about the company? Sometimes she seems so. And you should stop seeing Miss Smith. She's trying to steal you away. I'm sure of it. Lizzie, don't be ridiculous. She's 10 years older than me, and the school counselor. I can't trust her. You can't. You shouldn't. Calm down. No one is going to steal me away. She stared at him and she was desperately trying to want to believe his words. A moment later, she gave an odd little half shrug. I came into Sandy to run some errands today, so I'll leave you alone. Okay, John. Yeah, sure. Time to make the move. She left the room and John knew he had a rare opportunity, but he found himself sitting and thinking. Was it possible she was right about the Paxatine? He hadn't taken it in several days, and after a few low points he actually felt much better than usual. The terrible irony of depression medication was that sometimes a drug can make you feel even worse, not better. Maybe the changes he attributed to Paxatine were just changes in his life. There couldn't be anything to her conspiracy theories, but he could believe that Koitek would push her drug on anyone if depression even had mixed results. Things like that happen all the time. Abruptly he resolved that he made it out of the basement. He stopped taking Paxatine as an experiment. He could stay on his old meds to see if he did better. If he actually showed signs of improvement, even Miss Smith would be happy to let him take older drugs. Regardless, for now he needed to take stock of his options and take some kind of action while he had the opportunity and energy for it. He felt like he spent too much time thinking to make an escape attempt, but maybe he could accomplish something else. Look for weapons, make something for Lizzie, and don't try anything. Weapons are out of reach, although the crowbar could be a weapon, but we already have access to that. Depends if you want to, like, kill her on your way out, and I don't feel like that's a good ending. I think it's a possible ending, but I don't feel like that's a good ending. Don't try anything, obviously useless. I'm still wondering if we could somehow poison the food. Make something for Lizzie. Deciding his best bet was try to encourage Lizzie's good nature, John set to working with the kitchen supplies she'd left nearby him. His options without a stove were limited, but he did his best to make her something that looked like real effort had been put into it. He was no chef, but he thought she would like anything he made with his own hands. Strangely, the act of making some for her helped him forget about the fact he was chained in her basement. The situation might be messed up, but perhaps there was a core of something salvageable. When Lizzie saw his gift, she blushed, then took it away hurriedly. John blinked but didn't have time to object. The next time he saw her, though, she was beaming. Should have poisoned this food. I feel like that was one of the censored sex scenes. There is hentai portions of this game. This is the censored version, obviously, because it's on YouTube. I'm putting it on YouTube. But right there, that was probably one of them. I'm just telling you. That's why I had the abrupt cut. On Friday, John woke up, stretched, yawned, scratched the check of his leg, and got up to brush his teeth. It was only while brushing his teeth and staring at the walls and knives that he realized how normal this bizarre situation had become. 1 week ago, Lizzie had been asking him out on a date, and they got on like a normal couple. It felt like a lifetime ago. When he heard the basement door open, he didn't even glance up. He knew it would just be Lizzie again. He just rinsed out his mouth and set his toothbrush aside. Good morning. Can you believe it's been a week already? I was just thinking that, actually. Hasn't it been wonderful? We'll be together every single day. Ah, it's bliss. You know, we haven't done anything that couldn't have been done without the kidnapping. It's true, I told you. But that's the point. She skipped and passed him, oh god, to the wall of knives. Lizzie held her arms behind her back as she examined them eagerly. When we were together at school, part of me was afraid we were both pretending, even when we were alone. I wasn't myself. Lizzie chose one knife from the wall, caressing its edge slowly before taking it up. She turned to him, eyes unnaturally bright. Help me! A normal boy could have done all those ordinary things with me after seeing the truth. Oh, I'm pretty sure anyone with seeing a wall of knives being chained to a table could probably act pretty normal, considering the threat of what happens if you don't. You're saying I'm not normal. And I wouldn't want you to be. She came closer, knife swinging back and forth as her gaze remained fixated on him. She was close now. Close enough that she could have kissed him or stabbed him. Perhaps both at the same time, depending what she's into. I want you to learn that you shouldn't be afraid of me. You know I would never pick up a knife to hurt you, right? Sure. I wanted an answer. Oh god. Would kissing her be too forward? Would that just be like us acting fake and she would see right through it? I made a save. I'm gonna click kiss her for the hell of it, but I'm not actually gonna choose as my final decision. I just want to see if it leads to something horrible. Out of personal curiosity. Instead of answering a question that might have not any good answer, John leaned forward and kissed Lizzie gently. She gave a surprised gasp and leaned into the kiss. She kissed back like she was trying to devour him, and maybe she really was. Before it went on too long, Lizzie pulled back and stared at him shyly. I'm glad you did that, John. But I'm afraid. Afraid? Of me? Of this? Maybe I couldn't change. Maybe I did everything wrong. Lizzie rushed out of the room and slammed the door behind her. When she returned late in the day, she pretended like the kiss had never happened. John did the same, but he couldn't help but feel like something was different. Let's try this. Disagree. I'm sorry, but I don't agree with that. What? But John, I love you. Yes, but if you were convinced your love required to use that knife on me, you would do it. The alpha John, staring down the yandere. Ah, that's so sweet. What? Yeah, see, she wants honesty. I feel like the kiss comes back to haunt you, because she says she'll think like that's fake. You're trying to act like a normal person trying to sneak their way out. Because she's too clever. She's too smart. She's not dumb, that's the problem. If you were afraid of me, you would never have been so honest. You have all my weapons right here, you didn't try to lie to me. Oh, John, I hope you're wrong. I hope so too, Lizzie. I would never, ever want to hurt you, but I'm so happy you said what you really think. John swallowed uncomfortably. He wasn't sure where he expected honesty to go, but this was better than expected. That's the John I love. I want you to accept me, just like that. And you do, even though you're still worried. She wrapped her arms around his neck, still carrying the knife, and kissed him briefly on the forehead. After that, she lowered her face to his, hesitating for a moment and by the end pulling back without kissing him on the lips. Oh, you have no idea how much I want to do right now. Interesting expression, that's a new one. But I'll wait. I'll wait until you trust me. Do you trust me enough to let me go? Soon, darling. Soon. It's an interesting game of cat and mouse. I'm the cat trapped by that mouse from Tom and Jerry. I just want to like chill in my home, eat my cat food, and this mouse just keeps messing with me. On Saturday, Lizzie announced that she was making a huge meal for both of them on the last day. She asked what he wanted to eat, then headed out for a shopping trip. Are you really just gonna let me go after so many days? I hope that's the case. I mean, for our sake. It doesn't excuse the action, but still. It's nice to be free. As soon as he was sure that she was actually gone, John got up and took a deep breath. He didn't have much time left before the vacation was over, but what did he want to do? Crowbar! His crowbar to escape shackles. John carefully retrieved the crowbar and stood by the table for a while, just trying to motivate himself enough actually to do it. Eventually he decided he didn't have a choice. He couldn't come this far and back down. He took a deep breath, pulled back, and swung. His first blow glanced off uselessly, and he nearly gave up then. But he forced himself to try again. This time the table creaked. Blow after blow, he slowly bent the table leg inward. It made a horrible noise, but that just motivated him to hit harder. There was no hope of going back now. At last the table leg struck inward at an awkward angle. John dropped the crowbar and bent over, catching his breath. He knew he should check if it was enough, but now he almost didn't want to. Eventually he bent down and tugged at the shackle attached to the table leg. With enough tugging, he managed to pull it off. And then he was free. Maybe. Suddenly unable to deal with the uncertainty, John grabbed the loose chains so he wouldn't trip over and rushed for the stairs. Freedom! Yes, the door wasn't locked. He slipped out into the hallway and took a deep breath. Lizzie might have locked the front door, but he could always break a window if necessary. But now that he'd gone this far, John hesitated. What now? Ooh. Interesting. I think we'll do both choices at some form. It's just a question of which one to do first. Stay in the basement might be the interesting one. Escape ending might just be an escape ending, or it's a trap and you get murdered. There's a question there, like I said. If we escape, is she waiting out the door like it's a test or something? It's like a trap answer, you go out. It's like, surprise! She pushes you down the stairs and stabs you. Or it could be literal escape. That's tricky. Well, for the sake of interestingness, we'll stay in the basement. And then afterwards, I'll choose escape, because I want to see if my theory is true. If it's a trap, like it's too easy. Stay in the basement. John set the screwdriver and crowbar on the table, then repositioned his chair directly in the center of the basement. When he heard Lizzie enter, he sat down facing the door, making the unhooked shackle obvious. Lizzie came down the stairs not long after, a smile on her face. And then she saw him, and her expression became utterly blank. Hello, Lizzie. You stayed. Is that my choice, Lizzie? Manly Bastard chose it for me. That bastard. Subscribe to him today, maybe check his Patreon out, or check out his Twitch stream. It's all good. I didn't have to do this. This is my fault. Lizzie, calm down. Please don't get upset. But I kidnapped you, and... She was stumbling toward him, and he tensed when she reached behind her. And after pulling her knife from her waistband, she sat down on the table. I almost ruined the only thing I had. I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry. Sorry, so sorry, so sorry. The pain in her words was heartbreaking. Lizzie began to crumble, bending over with her back arched painfully. He moved to wrap his arms around her, keep her from curling against herself. Why? Why are you so kind? Lizzie, I don't want to hurt you either. Please calm down. Why did you stay? Why? Because I trust you, Lizzie, and I would like to trust you more. You don't have to do anything like this. I won't leave you. I just want to be happy. Smile sweetly and say I love you, and I do love you with everything I am, but there's so much of everything. It's okay, Lizzie. Let out what you feel. Never touch a knife ever again. I can't believe you stayed. I can't believe you're holding me. Still in his arms, Lizzie unleashed peal after peal of insane laughter. There was an unearthly quality to it that made his skin crawl, but John just held onto her tighter and closed his eyes. Eventually the laughter faded and she was still there. The tension in her body had dissipated, leaving her resting against him. When she looked up into his eyes, there was a sweet love there, and also an intensity. He'd never seen both of them in her at the same time, and they made him shiver involuntarily, but not necessarily in fear. John loves me. Whatever it takes. Yes, I do. I won't leave you. I never thought it could be like this. I love you, person I've only known for 1 week. Who locked me up in here? This is who I am. I thought it would calm down if you loved me, but now I feel so alive. I don't know what to do with these feelings. That's okay, Lizzie. I'll stay with you and we can figure it out together. Then, please kiss me, John. He bent and kissed her gently. She kissed back. Gently at first, but almost viciously. He tasted blood in their kiss and wasn't sure whose it was, but he didn't pull away. The kiss was wild and unhinged, utterly unlike any of his fumbling romances of the past. Lizzie's fingers dug into his back and she kissed until she had to pull back, gasping for breath. Thank you. Thank you. Her eyes had softened again. He knew the intensity was still lurking underneath the peace he saw on the surface, but it no longer frightened him. He felt like he should say something, but he couldn't find the words. After a moment, he realized that Lizzie had fallen asleep. After a moment of uncertainty, he decided to carry Lizzie up the stairs. She was much lighter than he expected, and he didn't have a hard time taking her to bed and tucking her in. Lying there, she almost looked angelic. He knew she wasn't, and honestly didn't want her to be. John realized he had stepped over a line and there was no going back. But now, though, he felt emotionally wrung out. He went to the couch and fell asleep almost immediately. Good morning, John. Would that have been a sex scene or no? At some point I should put the uncensored patch in, just out of curiosity to see where they would have been. She was right there, watching him when he woke up. He gave her a soft smile. Good morning, Lizzie. There's one more day before our vacation is over. Would you like to do something? Well, I think we spent more than enough time in here. You want to go out somewhere? Yes, I would like that. And possibly after all that, their date went completely normal. Lizzie seemed more relaxed than he had ever seen her, enjoying herself whether they were walking or eating or just sitting on the bus. She cast him frequent glances, but though they held intense devotion, the desperate edge he had seen there was gone. After so long in the basement, he was glad to stretch his legs and feel the sunlight. It seemed insane that all that had really happened, but for now he felt too much like a cathartic rush to feeling concern. The fact that we're alive helps. When the day was finally over, they returned to her house. She didn't invite him in. Instead, they just lingered at the edge of the property. John, I don't know what to say. You don't need to say anything. We can talk about it later. Then, I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Yeah, see you then. He watched her go, then turned around and walked back to the bus stop alone. The entire ride back, he tried to think about his experiences, but couldn't begin to grasp everything that had happened. When John got home, he found the door undamaged. The entire house didn't look so different, as if it had been banned for 9 days. There was only a single message on the answering machine. His father saying he was going on a company vacation. He hadn't even noticed that John was gone. None of his friends had called. He had been taken out of the world and no one had even noticed. The only person who had cared was Lizzie, but she wasn't there with him now and there were still too many emotions that sort through with her. John sat down on the couch and simply felt numb. He fell asleep there. An uncertain amount of time later, he slept and did not dream. In the morning, John felt surprisingly refreshed. He made sure to take the meds that Lizzie had sent with him since they seemed to have worked so well so far. When he went to school, he would have asked Miss Smith for her opinion, because despite the absurdity of it all, they were still going to have to go to school. Lizzie wasn't waiting for him outside his house, which was probably a good thing, he decided. The walk to school in the crisp air gave him time to focus. Not that he reached any profound conclusions, but by the time he reached the school, he at least felt reasonably okay. He didn't spot Lizzie at all, but when he opened his locker, he discovered a full note in the center. I don't feel like murdering anyone today! How romantic! That's true romance right there. She's like, I love you. I don't feel like I need to murder anybody in the school. It said, I don't feel like murdering anyone today, surrounded by hearts. Especially with the hearts. I mean, that adds just everything. That's just precious. Despite himself, John laughed. At least he thought that she meant it as a joke. Oh, no way. He looked up, he saw Lizzie around a nearby corner, and she smiled at him before vanishing. He drifted through several classes. Today he wasn't too different from the other students, if they were all back from vacation and unfocused. None of the teachers tried to make him do very much. After school he headed to Miss Smith's office. Not entirely sure what he was going to say. After so long away, however, he definitely felt like he could use some counseling. Ah, John, I hope you had a good vacation. Well, Miss Smith, let me just tell you about my vacation. It was the nicest basement I have ever seen. It was exactly pristine. It was okay. You? Spent the entire time working, I'm afraid. I actually tried to call you, but it seems you weren't home. Yeah, I was busy. Sorry. Oh, it's fine. I just hope you haven't lost any of our progress. Why don't you lie down and we get started right away? He got onto the couch, but things didn't go as smoothly as usual. Miss Smith was doing her best, but he just couldn't concentrate. It didn't take a genius to know the reason. He needed to decide exactly what he was going to do. If he wanted protection from the police, this would be his best chance to ask for it secretly. Or even if he skipped some details, Miss Smith might be able to provide some help of some kind. Or maybe he shouldn't tell her anything. It all worked out for the best, hadn't it? Something on your mind, John. Ooh, there's a lot of options here. These look pretty critical. Well, we'll revisit these during our all endings run. Lie about everything. Straight through our teeth. We're going all in. I don't know. This vacation was weird. I felt okay. Not great, but okay. Were you able to take a trip with your family? A change of scenery might have done you some good. Nah, we didn't do anything. But I guess a few things have changed for me lately. Maybe you're right. Apparently Miss Smith thought he was doing better, because she ended their session early and let him go home. On his way out, he spotted Lizzie watching him from the shadows. He smiled at her and she smiled back, but that was all. Damn, you're really everywhere, Lizzie. You're a damn ninja. And for now, that was enough. John started walking. I'm glad there wasn't some weird conspiracy. Actually, I thought that would have been a little cliche. So out of curiosity, let's try escape. Also, I just want to see what immediately happens. Let's see, whatever you need to do, you can be found breaking out by Lizzie. Maybe you could get the police, maybe just run away. Whenever you decide you need to get out and get out fast. John started to run for the door, but the chain almost immediately made that difficult. He got right up as he basically couldn't head for the door. It was locked, just like he suspected. He went back to get the crowbar and made short work of one of the house's windows. After gingerly climbing over the broken glass, he dropped down to the yard. He was free. For a moment, he just stood there uncertain what to do with that. Apart from wish he had fought to bring his homework, but then he realized that was idiotic. It didn't matter after all this. That was easier than I thought it'd be. John began moving down the street trying to get his wits about him. The first thing he needed to do was get further away from the house, but the second thing was decide exactly what he wanted to do. The idea of turning Lizzie in sickened him, but she obviously wasn't well. Would she end up killing someone if he let her stay on this path? He couldn't be sure. As he half walked, half jogged, he became more and more conscious of how heavy the chain was. He hadn't noticed at first, but it was getting to wear on him. It occurred to him that he looked like some kind of stereotypical escaped criminal, that the police might be suspicious of him. John almost giggled at the thought. John? Oh! Their voice floated to him as if he was part of the mist. John shivered and began to run, but his legs were sore and he was exhausted and he just didn't have the strength to escape her. Oh, that's the axe! I guess staying in the basement was the right choice. John. She practically seemed to glide after him, her feet barely touching the ground. Her face was completely blank, her eyes unblinking as she honed in on him. He shouted for help, but no one seemed to hear, or they preferred not to hear. She caught his sleeve and he tumbled to the ground. John tried to scramble backward, but she stepped on the edge of the fallen chain and he realized that he couldn't escape. John, why did you leave? I just wanted to go back to get back the anime DVDs, because I enjoy watching movies with you so much. Will you even listen to anything I say? Walking closer, Lizzie bent down toward him, axe ready. To his surprise, he saw a tear roll down her cheek. I'm sorry, John. This is my fault. Just watching you, we had something good and pure, and I destroyed it. I destroy everything I touch. Her words sound similar to some of his own darkest thoughts, but it was too late for that. Too late for anything. John swallowed and let the mire of depression consume him. Go on then. Do what you're gonna do. I never wanted to hurt you, John. I would rather die. You don't believe me? Well, I mean it. I meant every word. Huh? Without warning, she lifted the axe and plunged the spike into her own chest. John stared in shock and his blood began to spurt. Lizzie stared down on him without expression. And then she brought her axe down on his head. The blow went straight into his forehead and it was over in an instant. His last sight before he was gone was Lizzie dropping into the ground, blood gushing from her chest. And then he saw nothing. Hope glimmers stronger on another path. So I was right. Okay, so skipping was a bad end. It was a trap. I figured, it was like it's too obvious, right? It's a trap decision.